him only goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Griffin Gaming Hungarian Grand Prix, I should say. I am Alex Cochran, joined by Case Willems this time round. Hello, Case.
Yes, hello.
So, today we are, well, currently we're watching the Challenger Split qualifying. There is approximately 10 minutes left. As I said, we are here at the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit, Budapest. 14 corners, where we are currently at the last of the 14 corners. On pole with 10 minutes left is Darian Chikloven. He missed out last time. He did not attend, unfortunately. However, championship rival Kamishov had a torrid time. I don't know if that's the right word. Had a terrible time. And ended up DNFing from the race in the end, I think. So, although Chikloven missed out, didn't lose too much. And actually, I think Cyprian Stoyan, one of the Challenger Split champions, actually managed to get second place in the championship behind Darian. So, yeah, quite good for Darian's sake. And here he is back this weekend, currently in P1 with a 15.6. So it's a very, very good lap time. Jack Yates just behind him, who did a great job last time out as well. He's a 15.8, so not easy for Darian. Definitely has some competition this time around. We'll see how it goes as the track rubbers into the last 8 minutes of the session. I have just noticed on the stream the banner at the top is wrong and still says Mugello. I can assure you we are not at Mugello. This is Hungary. I will update that now. I have just not updated that. One moment, please. I've just managed to delete it, actually, so that is even more impressive. Well, we have no banner at the top this weekend. However, as I said, I can assure you we are at Hungary as we ride on board with Jack Yates. Not sure if he's on a lap. Coming into the last sector now, the penultimate corner. Really, really awkward corner, this, actually. Amber just falls away and you can lose the rear so easily. Yeah, I think he's on an out lap, so we'll follow him on board for this lap, see how he goes. Down the main straight here, Hungary, little crest in the middle, just so you can't see the braking zone. 100 meters on the left, a little bit after even for Jack there. Gets in nice and early for turn 1, maximizes the exit. This little DRS straight before turn 2 is a very tricky downhill left-hander, although it's quite easy that it falls away because it means you can get on the power quite early. Through the flat-out kink into a blind left-hander. This is turn 4. Blind, and he runs a little bit wide, just misses the apex, and then straight into the sweeping uphill right-hander of turn 5. A slower right-left chicane. You can really abuse the curves there, but Jack just taking it easy, maybe not wanting to take any risks. Still got time to set some more laps, so these maybe just banker laps for him at the moment. Right on the limit through these S's, almost flat out through this last one. Just a little lift on entry, and then just on the back straight. Yeah, I thought then he just ran a little bit wide there, and yeah, he ran a little bit wide and has backed out of the lap. You can see him checking the mirrors because he's backing off there. Just ran a little bit wide, invalidated his lap, unfortunately, and yeah, that's his. I said he was doing a banker, but over the limits anyway. Meanwhile, Chikloven 15.1, so he has improved his lap time by quite a margin. That's 7/10 to Yates there. He's really going to need to improve that. Well, every driver's going to need to improve their time to get even close to Chikloven. That's a really good lap time so far. 15.1 is master split pace. Here is Kamishov, though. He is just finishing his lap, I believe. Where will this put him? 15.9 that time round. Oh, just 1/100th slower than his previous lap, so not able to improve. Still P3 for Kamishov. This time round, the Griffin Red driver can have a much better showing than last time, which ended up with him falling down the field in the race and ending up with 0 points. Which, you know, for one of these championship contenders, is a bit of a disaster. Spencer Owens down in P6 to 1.1 off Shiklovan. So Spencer Owens definitely a fast driver. You know, we've seen last season he was racing near the top. Even this season he's been racing near the top, racing Shiklovan on quite a few occasions, and you know, coming off in front as he runs wide, actually cuts the chicane there. So good for Owens there. I'm not sure if he's on an in lap or an out lap, but yeah, it's definitely a skilled driver. To be that much off Shiklovan is amazing. Not amazingly bad, but you know, it shows the speed of Shiklovan around here. Right back, follow Shiklovan again. He's just a 10th down, but you can see him there. Just as we switched to him, he was taking that chicane with as much commitment. I said you can eat the curbs, and yeah, he really was eating the curbs. Runs a little wide, but doesn't run too wide like Yates did just before. Tanks the inside a little bit. Comes into the penultimate corner again. I said before, this kind of falls away. You can see he loses the rear on the exit. Just a little catch of oversteer, but it's almost like the carousel at the Nürburgring on a smaller scale. You turn in, the back just goes, and then hard to save. Does he improve? No, that's a 15.245. But, you know, 15.2 still would he be good enough for P1, so definitely just trying to set, well, I don't know. I'm gonna say he's trying to set bankers, but he's got his good lap. He's going to be full attack now, and yeah, be just a little mistake in the middle part before we rode on board, missed it. It's the Hungary we're actually using. Sorry, Case, go on.
Yeah, now one interesting thing I would like to report is, I'm not sure, but I believe I just noticed Joel Anderson teleporting back to pits. I'm not exactly sure what has gone wrong with him. I didn't see him stop, but I also didn't notice that he had crashed. So that might be a penalty coming up his way. We're not too sure.
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't follow Formula Trout League that much, we run, you know, semi-realistic rules. You're not allowed to teleport back to the pits, things like that. There's 2 yellow flags actually there. Oh, Peters is in the wall. Jackson as well, spinning over the last corner. 2 separate incidents. Looks like Peters qualifying is over. Yeah, what Case just said, we run, you know, realistic rules. This is sim racing after all, simulating real racing and the real rules. So you're not allowed to teleport back to the pits. You have to do an in lap as you would in real life. And if you do that, we can't stop you, unfortunately, in the current qualifying session due to the limitations of Assetto Corsa. However, you will be penalised very heavily if you do that. And yeah, as Case just said, we might have reports that Joel Anderson may have done that. You know, it's never what you want to see. We obviously can't prove it either way. I haven't seen it happen, but yeah, that will be a harsh penalty coming Joel's way if that was the case.
Yes, I believe I saw him going slowly at the exit of turn 3, was letting a few people go by, so I'm not sure if he either made a hit with the wall or had a spin or something else that would make...
Turn 1. Disaster. I feel like that might be him gone again. Yeah, he goes again. Jack Yates actually in P2 has improved to a 15.4 as he just comes in the pits. If he's quick, he might be able to do another lap here, but cutting it very close, just 1 minute 15 left. Now, that is what you need to do an out lap. Well, to do a hot lap, so if he's not gone out, he hasn't, that is qualifying over him, so 2 is best. No one else improves, but Shiklovan is on another lap as well, as I believe is Kamishov. Yes, Kamishov. Just starting a lap now. Can he improve? The Griffin Red driver missing. Oh, as he spins out turn 1. Big spin. Manages to not collect anyone, but that is his qualifying over, unfortunately, as his teammate just passes where he was. Yeah, his teammate, obviously, Griffiths, don't rule him out. He's also another very fast driver. Is Griffin Red. Impressive podiums. I believe he won in Challenger Split back in season 7. Here he is, season 10, back again. don't rule him out for the win at all. On his lap, manages to keep it neat and tidy through the chicane into the fast S's, runs a bit too much curb, but stays okay. Off the slippy green stuff, flat through there, little lift through the right-hander, manages to stay on the road, unlike Yates again. It hits the apex, unlike Cloven did. The penultimate corner, will he have any oversteer? Ooh, a little bit, catching every driver out it seems then. The last corner, late apex normally in the race, but in qualifying, you know, you don't need the exit onto the straight. It's a very, very short run to the line, and that is a P3 for Griffiths, so great job there, 15.8 in front of his teammate. I will say I bet his teammate might have beaten his time and managed to get in front, but he made that critical error at turn 1, and that was his qualifying over, and it allowed his teammate to jump him. Here is Owens coming through the last corner. Where will this put him? No improvement. 16.271, 600th off his best, so not an improvement there. Meanwhile, James K in. Oh, Shkloven sets a 14.6. Wow, that's an incredible lap time.
That's impressive. Wow.
That's a really, really impressive lap time. Can K improve? Yes, so K jumps Owens 16.1. I think that is qualifying over now. I don't think anyone else is on a lap. Joel Anderson is out again. That will definitely be heavy penalties coming his way. I believe that might even be a disqualification for the race. See what the stewards have to say after the race finishes. But yeah, so Shkloven with a 14.6. That is an incredible lap time. Really, really impressive stuff there. From the rookie as well. This is his first season in Formula Trout. Just his, I want to say his 4th race, because he missed the previous race, or maybe even his 3rd, because I think he missed 2 rounds. So yeah.
Yes, I believe it's his 4th race. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. So 14.6. I bet that would put him top 5 in Master Split even. Here's the pace Darian has here. 8/10 clear of Jack Yates in P2. Then as we run down the order, Griffiths in P3, Kamishov in P4, Ciprian P5. Penn returning again in P6, K P7, Owens P8, Jackson P9, good result for him, and Peters in P10, another good result there. So the cars now move to the grid. Darian for Younger GP. Second team, their Challenger Split team, is at the head of the field, and now we are watching not Darian. Oh. Yeah, if he can keep those lap times like he had in qualifying in the race, he will have a massive lead over the rest of the field. But you know, we've seen many times before a driver might have raw pace, but in the end you need to have that pace throughout the race. You need to keep it clean throughout the race, and if you can't manage that, you're not going to get the good results. So do not rule anyone else out yet. Yates in P2, very, very close alongside. Now Hungary is quite well known to be a track where it is difficult to pass. You know, Monaco without walls, I've heard people call it before, and you do run very high aero settings. It's very twisty. There's not many places to pass, but you do have turn 1 and turn 2, which are very, very nice corners to be able to go side by side. The switchbacks you can get at turn 1 are incredible, so effective, and then turn 2, the sweeping left hand, you can go around the outside or the inside. It's a very, very fun sequence of corners to overtake, but we will see. Will Yates jump Shkloven in lap 1? Will anyone else jump Shkloven? You don't rule anyone out at the start. The lights come on. 3, 4, 5, 6 of Assetto Corsa. And away they go. It's a good start for both the drivers at the front of the field. Looks like Yates has a slightly better start, and Shkloven has not covered the inside. Yates on the inside for turn 1. Shkloven a little wide. One of the Griffin red cars looks down the inside, looks on the outside of Shkloven, down to P3, Yates in P1. Shkloven's alongside, Griffiths there, Kamishov up to P2, Yates up to P1. Looks like most of the field has got through okay, yellow flags at the back, but Yates is the leader as we come into turn 4, turn 5, the field filters through. Oh, as the cars at the back go side by side, sensibly running wide there. Yates in P1. Michelle P2 as we ride on board with Anthony Penn. So a bit of a disaster of a start there. Shkloven has amazing pace, we said in qualifying, but you know, that start doesn't go your way and you really have to fight his way back up, and he's in P4 with BAC's Yates and the both Griffin Red teammates, P2, P3. So the ideal start, once again, just like Mugello, for Griffin Red. We have a yellow flag out the back for Jackson. He started in the top 10, but that has put him round outside the S's. But end of lap 1. Quite a big gap actually already for Yates, 7/10. Shkloven a second off. Kamishov there. No one close enough to make a move. Obviously no DRS on lap 1. Yeah, the ideal scenario for Griffin Red. Obviously they're fighting for the championship. Carlos Gamanis, Shkloven's teammate, is not here this week. So it's one versus 2 basically for the team's championship with the cars on track. Actually, don't rule Supernal out as well, because they usually have 2 drivers on track, although I believe it's just Owens this week. Just Spencer Owens, he's 7, so not the greatest start for him, but too bad. But yeah, the team's championship ideal for Griffin Red. Again, these drivers are going to have to race each other. We've seen, I think, every round this season when Kamishov and Griffiths has been here, been those 2 racing, but both racing Yates up in front as well. Now BAC, as I said last race, is one of the Griffin, one of the DAC affiliated teams, and Griffin Gaming Red is obviously one of the Griffin affiliated teams. So by proxy, they're kind of teammates. But I'm sure there will be no team orders here. I've definitely not told Jack Yates to let them through. I'm sure Christoph will not have told Kamishov and Griffiths to partake in any team orders. Griffiths is very close into turn 1, but not able to make a move. Still no DRS will be enabled this lap, though. Big gap in P9, I think it is. 3 seconds already, so it's a very, very large gap there. Owens is just.
Yes, I believe we do already unfortunately have a driver who has DNF from this race, Joel Anderson. I noticed at the first lap that he made some contact with, I believe it was, I can't find the name, excuse me, Andy Moreno. So he might have had the DNF unfortunately from his damages.
That's a shame for sure. He's one of the new teams. His teammate is not here this weekend. There's a duo of Andersons, but what's happened here? Spin for Griffiths. He must have lost it through the S and he's dropped down to P8. Just missed that. We were following Kamishov and we just did not see. Well, maybe we did and I wasn't paying attention. Yes, a disaster. I was saying it was a perfect start for Griffin Red. Now Griffiths is down in P8. Shkloven in P3 now. So Shkloven bit safe there, back in the podium positions. Meanwhile, Griffiths is going to have to fight his way back up the field. Yates sets the fastest lap. DRS will be enabled this time around. Is Kamishov able to make a move? No, he is too far back, and Shkloven is well out of the DRS. Both cars locking up there into turn 1. Owens might be able to... Nope. Owens, I thought, might be able to make a move. He was very close to Shipperin before. He was not this time, but down into turn 2. Side by side. Can he go around the outside? We have yellow flag. Kamishov around in turn 2, and he comes together with Stoyan there. And it all falls apart for Griffin Red. 4 laps after the perfect start in P2 and P3 for them, and both cars P6 and P8 now. Disaster for Kamishov and disaster for Columba as well. But meanwhile, up in front, Yates, 4-second gap to Shkloven, and Penn is just 4/10 behind Shkloven. So I wonder if Shkloven, I don't know, he didn't have the best start. I wonder if the tyres just not... Car maybe was set up for the qualification, set up for the qualifying tyres, and now he's on these harder tyres in the race, which I am assuming are going to be C3s. Yeah, so C2s. That would explain a lot. Cloven on those C2 tyres. The rest of the field, apart from Moreno, on the C3s. So yeah, he will not have the pace at this stage of the race. They will start to come back as the rest of the field is pushing their tyres, but as it stands, Cloven is under pressure from Penn, only on lap 5. And does he go for the overtake? Yes, he does on the inside. Not able to get alongside. Shkloven leaves him route and gets the inside. However, Shkloven will still have the inside line for turn 2. Is Penn able to hold it around the outside? Runs a little wide. Yeah, and Shkloven holds on to P2 for the time being. Very, very good defense there from the younger GP driver. And lives in P2 for another day, but Penn in a very, very racy... I don't even know the car. Is it the main?
I
very
believe that
certain.
may be Ace Energy, if I'm not confused.
No, it's the Ace Energy sister team, but unfortunately I'm not familiar with the name. Sorry for that. But yeah, Penn. Oh, what's happened here? Have we lost Columba? I believe we've lost Columba. Columba's out of the race, I think.
Yes, we have lost Carter Jackson and unfortunately also Columba Griffiths.
As more and more, I said it unravelled lap 4, it's unravelled lap 5 with Columba DNFing from the race. 1 versus 1 for the team championship now with Columba out, Shiklovin versus Kamashov now for the teams. And the championship battle for, I want to say it's the championship battle, but unfortunately for Kamashov, the previous few results has put him quite far back to Shiklovin. Shiklovin in P2 and Kamashov all the way in P7 after that spin. We didn't see what happened, but he made contact with Stoyan. That just made him incur a little bit of extra damage. Stoyan in P6, so he's under threat from Kamashov behind. Meanwhile, Penn is still following Shiklovin up in front, up in P2 and P3. It was Shiklovin runs very, very wide out at 6, I think that is.
Yes, so I would still say this is still a great point haul if he finishes in this position, P3, P2, who knows, for Anthony Penn driving for Horizon Racing Team, so I was confused. Currently does not have any points under his name, but if he can keep this pace up and finish on the podium potentially, it will definitely shoot him up in the ranks on the championship, so let's hope this battle goes on.
Case Darian's all over the road in front of Penn, almost lost the rear through the S's and then just through turn 12, I think that was, lost the rear again on the curve, went very wide, a big big snap through the last corner too. So Shiklovin not having a great time. Penn was 2 tenths faster than that lap. Can he make the move this time round? Goes down the inside in front by turn 1. Shiklovin moved very late there, but Penn was able to make the move on the inside as they come together. Penn went to guard the inside there, and Shiklovin had gone for the switchback. Just misjudged it slightly, but I don't think either car will be too unhappy. Just hard racing after all. But Shiklovin very, very fast through turn 2 there, almost came together with Penn, but that's Penn taking P2, Shiklovin falling down into P3, although that's up on where he was after lap 1 after the 2 Griffin red cars self-destructed. Owens just behind this pack as well, so Owens joining the fight for the podium definitely. But meanwhile up in front, Yates 7.3 seconds in 7 laps. It's almost a second a lap now, so impressive pace from Yates. He's on the C3 tyres, so the softer tyre than Owen, which is definitely not helping him out at this early part of the race. Further down the field, as Kamashov runs wide through turn 12, lets Fox through. He was fighting with Stoyan for P6, but he has dropped back down to P8 now. He makes a desperate move down the inside of the last corner. No chance he's going to be making that move. Up in the front, Shiklovin's actually looking back on the inside of Penn and takes the move. Wow, did not expect that. Was not alongside the braking zone, but here comes Penn once again round the outside. Has the DRS this time. Can he hold on alongside, but will he shut the door? Leaves room. And he's round. Perfect 3. Yeah, he's managed to keep it going, but perfect 360 for Penn. But Shiklovin back into P2. Bit of contact there between Owens and Penn, I think, but yeah, Penn just did not have a great turn 1. Got alongside Shiklovin into turn 2. Well, Shiklovin got alongside Penn for turn 2, tried to hold it round the outside, had the door nearly shut him, I thought. I think he was thinking the door was going to be shut. Took too much curb, did not need to, and it just put him into the 360. Unfortunately, had contact with Owens. Penn was putting on a great show just then, but he's dropped to P4 now after that 360. Very impressive driving to keep going after that. It was, a very nice choreographed 360, but I'm sure he would rather be in P2 now instead of P4.
Yes, now if I believe correctly, and if I believe correctly, Anthony Penn was the race winner in Hungary back in Season 8. Obviously in Season 9 Oliver Gibson won that race, but in Season 8, driver for Griffin Gaming Red, Anthony Penn won the race, so maybe he can regain his positions, but all in the meantime, obviously, Jack Yates is still just driving away. Gap now 8.6 seconds compared to Cyclovian. And I believe slowly but slowly just increasing. And if these things just keep happening, that gap will just increase more.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, Cloven has great pace as shown in qualifying, but he needs to just keep it clean, pull the gap between the rest of the field. And now he is in a bit of clean air, might be able to close that gap down, especially as those C3 tyres are going to be wearing. Not sure what race Penn did win in Season 8, because I don't think we had Hungary on the calendar back then, but yeah, he's definitely a race winner in Challenger Split. Didn't attend so much throughout the last season or so, but yeah, he's back now. He was putting on a very impressive showing. Unfortunately, had that little spin there through turn 4, turn 3. But again, don't rule him out. Just 3 seconds off Owens. He's not. Race is definitely not over. We're only on lap 9 of 46 here, so all open, even up to P1. Sure, Yates isn't perfect, and 8 seconds isn't a safe gap. There's a long time to go. See what the lap times are like as we are starting lap 10. Over 18.9 personal best for him, so I think he was faster that time around than Yates. Maybe the tyres are just starting to drop off now. Strategy will come into play here. It's a very tough track on the tyres, this one, Hungary. Follow James Kay into turn 2, right behind Penn after his spin. He'll be getting the little help of DRS, pulling him along, you know, getting closer and closer, or at least maintaining his pace will definitely be helping him out, because it's always nice to, you know, just get that little toe from DRS. And these modern 2022 spec VRC Formula Alpha cars, based on the Formula 1 cars, nowhere near as effective as the dirty air as they used to be. So a track like this, Hungary, where you have this middle sector that they're about to come through with the twisty left, right, which really rely on downforce. It doesn't matter if you follow a car so closely, because you don't have the penalty like you used to. The DRS just ends up closing you, much closer than it would in previous seasons, getting you closer than it ever would have done before. And there's a little wobble out of turn 12 there. K and Penn both on the same tyres. Cloven on the harder tyre, and Moreno was off the C4s, so quite unexpected from him, but is running P10 currently. We've lost quite a few cars already, only 11 cars remaining in the race, so for anyone who's left, it's definitely worth staying in, because you might score that point even if you end up 3 laps down, because you only need one more DRS and everyone will get a point. Kamishov and Stoyan racing though in P6, P7. Kamishov briefly got in front, has the DRS for turn 2, tries to go the long way around on the downhill left-hander, isn't able to keep it alongside. Stoyan shuts the door. Great defense always from Stoyan, and this time around is no exception. Managed to keep P6 for now, behind Fox and Peters battling for P8 and P9 too, so battles all over the place at the moment. P6 to P10 are only 5 seconds, only 1 second apart here, so they try battle, they lose a bit of time each, and I have a double overtake for one of the cars behind. I'm sure they would quite like that. I will mention actually, Stephen Fox, one of our solo drivers, is in the beautiful Formula Trout car, what the solo drivers given it, which was made by Case Willems. Thank you very much, Case.
Yes, no problem.
Unfortunately, we were missing it for the last few rounds. We've been a staple of Formula Trout for the last few seasons, our beautiful Trout car. But here it is, back on track. The lovely speckled appearance of the Trout car is racing here for P7, so good to see it back. As again, thank you, Ace, for working on that, and thank you, Christoph, for finalising it as well and making sure everything's on the server.
Yes, obviously, we were all missing everyone in the Trout League. The Trout livery, it is the classic, and Thomas Marshall actually, I believe, had the rights in terms of the design-wise of the car, and he just said, just bring back the old Trout car. We all love it, nothing's wrong with it. So I went, yeah, let's do that. We brought back the old Trout car. It looks almost exactly as it did the previous seasons, and I think everyone absolutely loves it.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. It's very beautiful. It's nice to have it back. Quite missed after the last few rounds. Yeah, on the topic of that, actually, whilst this pack is kind of stuck behind each other, Stoyan looks like he's actually pulling a bit of a gap there on Kamishov. I will mention that, yeah, it was Thomas Marshall, the owner of Horizon, that actually had the rights for that, and he had the rights per se of that due to donating in our charity for sim racing for Ukraine, where we actually managed to raise an incredible, I think it was over $3,000 in the end. So really amazing job from everyone who donated towards that. Obviously helping out with the conflict in Ukraine at the moment. I'm sure that will be very appreciated by the charities, by the people that will help. Yeah, so Thomas was one who donated to that for to have the rights. Oh, as Fox spins there. So Fox went to look down the inside there. It spun as I was rambling on. Sorry. Yeah, Thomas was the one who donated for the have that, and thanks to him and thanks to everyone else who donated. Very, very appreciated. Yeah, Fox in that beautiful trout car unfortunately went to was battling with Peters into turn 1 and ended up spinning there. So it's a shame for him. But as I said, we've had quite a rate of attrition here, and he's still in P9, so it's still a good points haul for him if he can keep it going. And don't rule him out yet. He might be back in P6 by the end of the race. Might be back in P1 by the end of the race. You never know what might happen. But up in P1 at the moment, Yates still maintaining that lead. 7.5 to Shiklovan now, so it's dropped around a second, but I'm sure he's just managing the pace. No need to push when you have a gap like that. Crucially as well, he's on those softer tyres, but he has the time to, you know, extend, maybe go a little longer than he would normally with that big gap. If it was only 1-2 seconds, you know, you wouldn't want to push it too far, because a big slide might put you behind and then you're going to have to fight your way back up. But with that 7-second gap, you can just hold back, cruise a little bit, see how the gap's going, and if it is dropping down, just pit for those C2s and he'll probably come out in front again. Just Shiklovan is definitely a fast driver down in, well, not down in P2, he's currently running P2. Turn 5 he comes through now, and on those C2 tyres, which will be definitely have more grip than those C3s by now. Doesn't seem to be significantly faster, which again, that will really matter for the last into the race, because he will be on the C3s, Yates will be on the C2s. But if the C3s, you know, they drop off pretty quick and the C2s don't end up being that much faster, or slower even, it means that if Yates has track position, it will really help out for him.
Yes, as I've noticed, Cyprian Stoyan has just come out of the pits to the box from C3s to C2s, which will be very interesting to see if he can extend those C2s until the end of the race. He might not. So
he runs wide there. Oh, yeah. No, definitely, that's a very good point. So Stoyan clearly showing that it is maybe time to pit for Yates. He's on those C3s. He's now on the C2s. Yates on the same set of tyres as Stoyan was. That drop has gapped, apparently. The gap has dropped down to 7 seconds now for Yates, so yeah, those tyres actually are starting to drop off. I'm sure Stoyan was feeling the same and has switched to the C2s. He will be having to do 30 laps as Kamishov gets overtaken there by Peters, so Kamishov not having the best time here. Yeah, Yates will probably be feeling those tyres dropping off now. I'm sure Stoyan will just why he's pit. Don't know if he'll be able to go to the end of the race. 31 laps remaining on C2s. It's quite a big ask. And as I found out last time in Zandvoort, the cliff at the end of the tyre life is... No, Mugello, sorry. The cliff at the end of the tyre life is very, very noticeable. You might lose 3-4 seconds just trying to keep the car on the road in those final laps. So definitely one to... watch if he is actually doing the 2-stop, or he is going to try hold on for the rest of the race. Those next 31 laps he's going to have to do on those harder C2s.
Yes, definitely. The C2s generally, we as drivers often praise for how well they generally feel, for how long they can go, but don't take them too much over, otherwise they will fall off you and your race might turn into an absolutely horrible one. So it's definitely very interesting to see how long he will be able to just carry and nurse those tires around this track, which, yeah, it's very interesting. Personally, I don't think I would go, or at least I would pit that early, or maybe try out the C1. So yeah, it will be definitely interesting as you have a little slide from Dmitry Kamishov at the exit of the last turn of the Hungaroring there.
Yeah, Kamishov is on these C3 tyres, so as you know, we're following. Oh, as he goes deep into turn 1 there with the overspeed. Yeah, he's on those C3 tyres that Stoyan are on. Lost the rear through the last corner, locked up a little into turn 1 there, maybe just the tyres falling away from him, misses the apex turn 2. Don't want to be too critical here, Kamishov, do not worry, we're not trying to criticise you too much. I know it's hard driving on these older tyres, but yeah, you can see he's quite a scruffy lap so far. This is the apex at turn 5 as well. Not too crucial around there though with the uphill and on the exit. Yeah, he's definitely going to be thinking about pitting soon. I'm sure this car is not very nice to drive at this point of the race. But as you say, Case, will he be able to take the C2s to the end, or is he going to have to do a 2-stop at that point? There are a lot of drivers would love to do maybe C3, C3 or C2, C2, but the rules here, you can't do that. You need to use 2 different compounds. So he needs to go on the C2s, or he needs to do a 2-stop and use the C4s at one point in the race, and I will not expect a driver to do that. Moreno, who started on the C4 tyres, actually has pit already and is on the C3, so he's definitely committed to the 2-stop. Probably going to have to go on the C3s later on in the race, I imagine, or maybe even the C2s, depending on how the C3s treat him. He did pit quite early on, unfortunately. Cloven still hunting down Yates, 6.7 the gap now, slowly dropping 2, 3, 4 tenths a lap or so. Yates, I'm sure, will be watching the gap. Not too much pressure just yet. Has it under control? The chicane, there's a little wobble there with the chicane. Not costing him too much. The C2 tyres are going to be definitely faster than the C3s at this point. Shower of sparks on the apex there. Quite a bumpy track here. Using a different Hungary ring this time, as we did last season. It is much more accurate. It is a much nicer track. However, it's a bit of a post-apocalyptic look, let's say, with the grassy banks are quite fuzzy. So we'll post-apocalyptic Hungary this time, but the track is untouched, thankfully, and is a great track to drive and race. What happened to Ben and Owens? 10 seconds now from P2, P3. Quite gaps all over the field. With the pit stops, we will see some more action happening soon. It was Peter's pit in P6, so that has unleashed Kamishov a little bit. Wasn't able to get past Peters. Brought back a little bit to him, but he will have clean air in front. As will maybe be trying the undercut or trying to extend that lead he had by pitting a little bit early. Now, with the few cars on track, Stoyan is going to jump Peters here. So that's ideal for Stoyan. He's on the fresher tyres. But then ideally for Peters, on the other hand, he has a clear track in front of him. Stoyan will not hold him up. And there's no blue flags. There's no slow cars that have yet to pit. So he will have a clear track to be able to extend that gap to Kamishov. So Kamishov will react in the next lap or so. He's just tiptoeing through the middle sector there. It does not look pleasant to drive whatsoever. Yates, that's a 120 up in front. Shkloven a 119.2, so Shkloven's second faster that lap, so the C3 is really starting to drop off. I imagine we will see Yates hit within the next lap or so. 26 laps to go would be around the maximum of what I would want to run the C2s as. Yeah, Kamishov reacts to Peters behind, comes into the pit. James K in front is pitting as well. Gets it stopped for the pit limiter. Locks the tyres up, but I'm sure he does not mind. These tyres will not be reused. Flat spot them all you want into that pit lane. Doesn't matter, really. I think K was on the C4 there. Oh, C2, sorry. Oh, you look like he had purple tyres. No, was he across the pit lane line there, actually? Caught you there, James. We'll have to watch the replay for that. Obviously, every driver is watched for their pit limit, the pit line to cross it, and it did look like he may have crossed it there with the outside wheels. So we'll have to check that. There might be a penalty coming his way at the end of the race. But Kamishov comes out the pit in P9 behind Peters, behind Moreno. That seems a very long pit stop. I wonder if he was repairing damage, because he's now 10 seconds down on Peters, who he was racing with before. Yates, meanwhile, P1, 20.5, this time around 19.3 for Shkloven, so he's not pit, and Shkloven is getting closer and closer, in 5 seconds now.
Yes, as I believe Spencer Owens is now entering the pits, yeah, just alongside Anthony Penn there, so this will be a little pit stop battle, though there is still a few seconds in between them. Let's see what tires will go on. I believe they will go on C2s, at least at this lap point it would make sense to go on C2s compared to 6 laps earlier. So let's see who will win this. I think it will likely be Spencer Owens, but it might be some bit of damage for Owens as they get, oh yeah, the seconds have definitely closed up now. So the next DRS zone is already after turn 1. So maybe, I don't think Anthony Penn can get close to him here already, but obviously these are the C2s, and they take a bit extra longer to get them up to the temperatures, as these are obviously the harder tires. So maybe within the next 1 or 2 laps, if he can keep up the pace, he may be able to overtake Spencer.
Yeah, Penn definitely closed on Owens there. As you say, I wonder if Penn had some damage that he... Owens had some damage that he decided to fix. Penn, we know, has damage from his 360 and collision with Owens, but maybe he decided not to fix that damage. Or maybe the car feels okay without it.
As Yates is entering the pits.
So
Yates has just entered the pits. Siglovin seems to be staying out though, so this will be an undercut for Jack Yates. Let's see what tires he will go on. I assume the C2s as well.
Yep, stops in his marks. Will it be the C2s? Yes, it will. Shiklovan on the C2s at the moment, going around perfectly fine and is taking the lead for now. Yates will come out in P2 with a huge gap to Owens behind, having pitted of course, so that's clear track for Yates, ideal. He is on 0 lap old C2s. We'll have to get them up to temperature of course, but Shiklovan is on 20 lap old C2s. So Yates will be pushing now to try and maintain his gap. Now Shiklovan will be on the C3s later on, I am sure, and will have the pace advantage when he pits, but will he have enough of a pace advantage to be able to take the lead?
Yes, now one interesting thing I just noticed is that Spencer Owens has received a penalty for speeding in pit lane, so that may be 3 or 5 seconds added to his race time. So maybe if Penn can stay within those 3 or 5 seconds or potentially even overtake him, he might be getting back on the podium for this race.
Yeah, that would be a shame for Owens. You know, it's never fun to lose a position not on track, let's say, but you know, they're the rules, and every driver tries to push it right to the limit on the pit entry, and if you just overstep the marks a little bit, that can be, as you said, a 3 to 5 second penalty. It can be even more if you really overstep it, but yeah, 3 to 5 seconds is usually what it's going to be, but that could just drop in behind Penn. Still 24 laps to go, so still plenty of time to build that gap to Penn. We'll see.
Yes, now speaking of a gap, sorry to interrupt, but I noticed that Siglovin has not pitted on this lap, so he is staying out. So
Moreno
I think
runs wide.
Yates might be getting. Oh, and Andy Moreno goes wide there on the chicane.
Really struggling. I think he just spun just as you started speaking. He just spun as we switched to him and cut the chicane there. So I wonder if he has damage. Yeah, well, Shikloven's on those C2s, so I imagine, you know, Yates is going to have to do 24, 25 laps on C2s. Shikloven's only on 21. No way he's going to be able to do 24 laps on C3s, so he will probably be coming into the pits in around 4 or 5 laps, but that is going to allow Yates to build the gap, build the theoretical gap that he will have when he pits. So we'll see what lap time Darian can do. Yates will be setting a lap time himself, obviously, and we'll see what the split is. So Cloven on those 23 lap old tyres, 19.1, that's still a good lap time. Yates 17 seconds behind. He has pitted, but is on the same tyres, much fresher, 22 laps fresher. What lap time will he be able to do? That is a 18.6, so that is 5 tenths faster. So Yates, 5 tenths faster that lap. That's going to be 5 tenths when Darian comes out the pits. He's going to have to make up on the fresher C3 he'll be on. What he can do, Stoyan is right behind K now actually, so K and Stoyan will be racing. I think there's a few... Oh, that's Penn in front actually, and then I believe one of the blue flagged cars might be Marino, Fox potentially. Stoyan a little faster than K that time around. It was a personal best for K. It wasn't a personal best for Stoyan, but it was faster as he actually loses the rear in turn 1 there. I thought he was round for a moment, but manages to keep it going. Has the DRS on... Doesn't have the DRS on... Doesn't have the DRS on K for some reason, even though within a second. This battle will definitely... I'm sure they will definitely be alongside within the next few laps or so into turn 1 potentially with that DRS zone through there. Stoyan does look like the faster driver. Definitely the more experienced driver, that's for sure. But K is, you know, the driver in himself. He's had some good results this season, and yeah, you can see actually K was struggling through that chicane. Stoyan caught almost 4 tenths in one corner. And oh, as he touches the curb, nearly lost the rear. Big snap of oversteer, keeps it in the straight line, but has lost that Time he gained through the chicane. We'll have the DRS anyway. Well, might have the DRS. 9.89. Yeah, manages to keep it within 9/10 or so. That is, a second is what you need to get the DRS. Don't imagine Stoian's going to be making a move. He's too far back, but he will have the DRS, and importantly, he will be able to be dragged along by K5. Now in front, our leader at the moment, theoretical leader Yates, who has pitted in 2:16.8. I'll have to watch that gap. I don't know how long a pit stop actually costs exactly. Not sure if you know the case.
I'm unsure. I think it will likely be somewhere 18 to 22 seconds. So checking right now, the gap between Yates and Siglovian is 16.8 seconds. So it is a bit on the edge. I think Jack Yates, if Siglovian decides to pitch the next lap or the lap afterwards, I think Yates will be coming out ahead of them. But obviously, you know, it depends if he has maybe damage or not.
Yeah, definitely, and by how much, because as I said, importantly, Shiklovin's going to be on those C3s, he's going to be on the softer tyres, and those first 5, 6, 7 laps, when they are significantly faster than the C2s Yates will be on, might be able to just take the lead and then hopefully, well, for his sake, hold it on for the rest of the race. While Penn is hassling Owens for P3 here, right behind through the penultimate corner. Running right to the edge of the track, will have the DRS, might be able to make a move. We saw these two battling earlier on. Good exit for both cars, but Penn will have the DRS. Owens covers the inside, Penn on the outside. Will he be able to go the long way round? Owens stays in front, but again, Penn has the DRS. Owens shuts that door. Penn tries to go around the outside again. We saw this before and ended up with him spinning. And Owens holds on that time around behind Stoian and Hay, almost replicating exactly the same, but good defense from Owens to stay in front of Penn there. Yeah, Penn just 3/10 behind. I think Owens is just a matter of time until he gets passed by Penn, unless there's a mistake from Penn. But we saw this before, actually. All the cars now closing up together. We've got P3, P4, P5, P6. The race for the podium with 4 cars. 20 laps to go. Sure, every driver in this train will be licking their lips for the chance of that podium position. I think every driver here has taken a podium before, so they're definitely experienced enough to know what it takes. But Owens currently leading this train of cars in P3, but Penn will have DRS once again this time around. Wasn't able to make it stick last time. Will he be able to make it stick this time? I think he's slightly further back. Blue flag car on the inside, manages to get out of the way, does not affect anyone too much. Owens on the inside again. Penn on the outside again. Owens goes right to the outside, tries to cover the... Yeah, doesn't cover it off. It's the same scenario once again. Can Penn hold on? No, he cannot. Exactly the same. You think they'd choreographed this? Same last lap, same this lap. But yeah, it's just such a proven way of defending. You can defend turn 1 like that, and then that puts them on the outside for turn 2, and it's very difficult to make the move there. As I thought they were going to touch there. K right on the gearbox of N. Great exit for K. I wonder if he's just got that little extra pace. Penn is following Owens, overheating his tyres. K came from a little further back and is slowly closed on this pack of 2 cars. Owens running a little bit of a train here with Stoian just 2/10 behind K as well. Running wide through the pink. Looks to the inside to try and throw K off, I think, but it does not fall for it. Ooh, as Penn runs wide. Penn will have the DRS, but made that little error at the penultimate corner. Dropped back a little bit. Can Owens hold on for one more lap? The 3 cars behind him all have DRS. He does not. Covers the inside. Stoian looks to the inside of K behind. They managed to keep it together. Owens does not have to go anywhere near as defensive this time, and Penn is just dropped farther back like he was before. K holds on to Stoian behind as well. Stoian made a little luck into turn 1, but didn't really manage to make anything of it, and back in the same order for another lap.
Yes, as I believe I have finally good news. Siklovin is now entering the pit lane. I assume he is going to be going onto the C2 tire, so it will be very interesting to see where it will come out. Currently, Jack Yates about 13 seconds behind.
Yeah, Yates coming through the last corner already, so Yates will be very far in the lead. I think it was only about 15 seconds, so Yates had closed that gap back down. He takes the lead. Yates back into P1. Here comes Shiklovan on the C3 tyres. See what the gap is as they get out, but we switch back to Owens, who is racing this pack of 4 other cars, the 3 cars behind him, for the podium position. Penn very close behind once again, but Kay is close behind Penn too. But Owens is the only one without DRS, unfortunately for him. Looks to the inside, well, covers the inside. Penn goes around the outside again. Stoyan actually making the move down the inside on Kay there. Owens once again on the inside. Penn not able to do anything. Stoyan holding on to that position. And yeah, so Stoyan up into P5, overtaking Kay in turn 1. Came from a little bit further back than I expected, so that's a great move by him, and managed to hold on through the turn 2. Meanwhile, Penn up in front is not able to get in front of in front of Owens, and I imagine if Stoyan is the faster car than Kay, Stoyan might be looking for a move on Penn as well. Yeah, so it's 8.5 seconds, the gap to Yates for Shiklovan. Yates sets an 18.7 that time around on the C2s. Shiklovan, obviously that is his out lap, 37.1. This will be his first true lap on those C3 tyres. We'll see what lap time he can do. 8.4 second gap to close in 17 laps approximately. But here we go, once again. Penn following Owens onto the start finish straight. Ooh, big snap of oversteer, but has the DRS. Will he be close enough? Identical lap times from both drivers. Looks to the outside with Owens covering the inside, gets alongside in the braking zone, but then Owens has the inside line, shuts that door, and Penn just does not have the run. Meanwhile, Stoyan behind is just within just 2 tenths. Penn's on the outside. No way he's going to be able to make it through from that far back, and Stoyan almost got the run on Penn. They're side by side into turn 4. Penn backs out and Stoyan with an amazing overtake. Wow. So I said Stoyan was the faster car, might be able to make the move after he overtook Kay, and there he was. Into turn 4. Making it. Oh, Owens is round. I don't know if there was contact there or not. Drop that back.
I believe there was contact between the two, yep.
So I was just saying, Stoyan made those positions back up. He was the faster car. He makes contact with Owens. Owens down in P6. Kay up in P4. And Penn is now in P3. They've got rid of that. The obstacle in front of Stoyan gets rid of the obstacle for Penn. Unfortunately, Owens drops down to P6 and Penn gets back in P3, so I'm sure the stewards will definitely have something to say. Owens, unfortunately, makes contact. Well, Stoyan makes contact with the rear of Owens' car, puts it down P6, 6.4 seconds behind. Stoyan returns to where he was before, behind Kay. There's a yellow flag out for Owens as well, so I think he's just spun out of the last corner. Must have some damage, unfortunately. But definitely a shame to see. That was a very, very spicy battle between all 4 cars, and yeah, ended in tears for Kay and for Owens, unfortunately. Yeah, that came just after an amazing overtake from Stoyan too. That was amazing. You know, the commitment to go around the outside at turn 4 definitely takes something in his driver of many seasons of experience. Not surprising to see that, but then, you know, those many years of experience don't make you immune from mistakes, and he made contact with Owens in front. I'm not sure if Owens had a little slide and he just kind of had no choice but to hit him, but Owens is the one who lost out there. Stoyan lost out a little bit, but not too much. I'm sure he's going to be looking to make the move on Kay in the next few laps or so. And in front, actually, there's a 1.3 second gap to Kay, so how's the DRS? Oh, Stoyan pits, actually. Stoyan must have some damage from that collision with Owens. Might give Owens the position back. Doesn't want to, but one of those things. Yeah, Owens actually under pressure from Kamishov and Peters here, so Kamishov disappears for a moment. But yeah, Owens dropped to B6 due to the contact and is now just wiggling all over the place. I'm sure he has damage. Kamishov. Ooh.
Ooh.
Well held from Kamishov. Owens moved to the inside at exactly the same time as Kamishov. All over the road, had the DRS open, of course, but now they're side by side out of the exit of turn 1. Peters with a little slide drops back. Can Owens hold it around the outside? I imagine not with damage, but very well held from Kamishov. I thought he was going to have a huge crash down that straight. Had the DRS open and had to swerve to avoid Owens. Keeps the position, so very well done from Kamishov. Unfortunately, his incidents earlier on put him into P5, but not a bad result coming back from that, and yeah, not a bad result saving the car from that huge slide then. I thought he was going to be out of the race there, and yeah, Owens sliding all over the place. Peters going for a move in the S's. You do not see cars going alongside here. Was they touch a little bit, but Peters makes the move, and Stoyan goes back through as well. Ooh, so Owens clearly has damage. Maybe his tyres have gone, maybe he's got damage, but yeah, Stoyan pitted after that contact, dropped behind that pair of Peters, Owens, and Kamishov actually as well, the trio, and has actually got back past Owens. Owens struggling now. Cyprian has the fresh tyres, he's on the C3s, he's going to be going, get as many positions as he can in the next 14 laps or so. Looks to make the move on Peters, goes to the outside, Peters covering the inside, he's in front by turn 1 and makes the move very easily. Yeah, Owens is just falling down behind. If he pits, I doubt he's going to make up the 20 seconds or so he'll lose, but if he crashes, you'll score no points, so yeah, I'm sure it's a difficult situation for Owens, and it's a shame after he was racing so strongly for P3 just 5 laps ago or so. But Yates up in P1, 4.5 seconds to Shikloven. That gap's come down to Shikloven, but Yates set a personal best that time around. 13 laps to go on these C2s. Shikloven has 13 laps to go on his softer C3s. Unless he makes a mistake, I'm sure Yates is managing the pace here. Quite confident in his current position, quite comfortable in his current position. Yeah, after that exciting few laps, the exciting battle for P3, the gaps have kind of grown all over the field. Closest two cars are Kamishov and Stoyan. Stoyan on those fresh C3s, Kamishov recovering after his earlier incidents. Stoyan clearly is a very fast car on track with these fresh C3s. Probably the fastest car on track, if not in fact. So 1.6 seconds, lap 33. Bring it down. Can he hold on for the next? Can Kamishov hold on for the next 13 laps? 18.6 for Yates that time around. Shikloven with a 17.3. So I was saying he was comfortable, but that's 1.3 seconds. Shikloven just closed. Shikloven last time I looked was doing 18, so very impressive lap time there for Shikloven. We saw it in qualifying. We're seeing it in the race again. Yeah, he was struggling at the start of the race on the C2 tyres, the harder tyres. Said maybe the car's set up for the softer tyres on these C3 tyres, on these softer tyres. Much faster than Yates, but how long can he keep this up for? The C3s will wear out faster. Unless he can get past soon, he might struggle in the later stages. Oh, there's a yellow flag out for Owens as he's out of the race. So Owens, struggling with a damaged car, struggling with his tyres, is out of the race after contact with Stoyan. Such a shame to see. Owens is such a strong driver. You know, in the podium positions, just, 5 minutes ago and 10 minutes ago maybe, and yeah, he's now out of the race. I'm surprised he didn't hold on because there's only nine runners now, and he will not score points because you need to finish 80% distance to score points. So 0 points for Owens. Moreno will jump up to P9 too, so extra points all for him.
Yeah, that is rather interesting that he didn't continue to finish the race. I'm not sure if he had really extreme damage, but he would have gained, I believe it's 2 points for P9.
Yeah, he was running P9 and there was a huge gap to Moreno behind, so even if he pitted for damage, he would have maintained that P9, so it's a shame.
Yeah.
Shame that he's
he would have
DNF'd.
actually overtaken Mason Owens. I believe that is his brother. I'm not sure, but either way, he would overtake Mason Owens in the drivers' championship as well, and he would only be 1 point behind Jack Yates, who is currently well, currently in P5, at least he was before this race in the Drivers' Championship. But I'm sure he will definitely go up. I believe he will be then third in the Drivers' Championship, just behind Dmitry Kamishov.
Standings are all over the place. I thought we'd lost the driver there. No, the standings were just breaking a little bit. Yeah, you say, you know, Yates is in P5, but he is currently leading the race, and on that lead, 2.3 seconds. Shiklovan closed last time round again. Shiklovan hasn't closed this time around though. It was 2 seconds at the start of the lap. It's still 2.3 seconds as we approach the end of the lap, so we've really made a little mistake in the middle sector. 0.4. Oh, he was closing at 1.3 seconds just a few laps ago. And what will it be this time? 18.6 for Yates, and it is an 18.6 for Shiklovan as well. Just 100th slower. And, yeah, not closing the gap this time around, but you know, 10 laps to go, plenty of time to close the gap to make the overtake. While Kamishov in P6 has been overtaken by Stoyan. Stoyan unfortunately missed that. I think that was when the timing screen went a bit all over the place. Stoyan made the move on Kamishov, has jumped back up to P5 for Stoyan. Kamishov down in P6. I want to say one of the championship contenders, but unfortunately a string of poor results has dropped him down to P6 in the race here, and I'm not sure where he was in the championship, sorry, Case.
Dmitry Kamishov currently third, at least prior to this race, in the Drivers' Championship with 40 points.
What's the gap to Shiklovan for him? Okay. Anyway, yeah, so last time around we were following Shiklovan. I said he didn't really gain on that last lap. He's gained 6/10 on this lap so far. Yates, you can see, is very, very close. He's getting closer and closer as the race goes on. 1.6, 1.5 as he exits the last corner. 18.2 personal best for Yates. He's pushing, but 17.6 for Shiklovan. So Yates is pushing on those C2s, those harder tyres. Shiklovan just pushing on the C3s, but you know, that softer tyre able to gain him 6/10 on that last lap. 1.6 seconds to Yates. 9 laps to go. Will the pace advantage remain for these remaining 9 laps? Will he be able to be close enough, and will he be able to make the move?
Yes, excuse me for my silence just now. I was not pressing the correct speech button. Dmitry Kamishov currently 23 points behind prior to this race.
Yeah, so definitely a shame if he, you know, finished in the podium, maybe won last time out at Mugello. That would have brought that points gap right down, would have put him right back into the championship. But after that DNF, the lack of points he scored, that has dropped him 23 points behind when it was his chance to make up those positions. And yeah, the mistake this time around, P6 for him. Shiklovan currently in the battle for P1, or will be the battle for P1 if he can close that 1.7 gap. It will gain another about 15 points on Kamishov there, so not great for the championship for him. But Shiklovan just behind some lapped cars there. They let him through. I believe that is Fox. 18.9 for Shiklovan that time around. The tyres are wearing, getting held up by the traffic a little bit, and has not picked up as much as he would have wanted. As we have a penalty already, an incident report already in the steward's room. With Moreno with contact to Anderson there, with Anderson and Moreno coming into contact with each other. So, as I said, the stewards will definitely have some work this time around, but expecting to see one from Owens as well with that unfortunate contact with Stoyan. But eyes on this battle between Yates and Shiklovan, just a second almost between these two cars. Yes, now within a second, so if Shiklovan can keep this gap, he'll have DRS at the end of lap 38. 8 laps remaining, 8 laps to make the move for P1.
Yes, no, definitely. One thing that is important to know, Jack Yates' C2 tyres are already 17 laps old, so they will still have a small bit of life in them, but not too much. However, the Shiklovian's tyres are already 10 laps old, and these are the C3s. So let's hope he hasn't taken out too much life out of these tyres yet, and when he may possibly overtake him, as he is now below the 1 second gap, as he may likely have DRS
is open.
Yes,
yeah.
It does look like it so. And he hasn't wasted too much life with his tyres, and he can hopefully stay ahead in P1 ahead of Jack Yates.
Yeah, he was 7/10 faster that lap. A very good point. They're on very similar tyre life, so you know, with 10 laps more for Yates, but he's on those harder tyres, so it's probably equivalent tyre life. And Schikloven's 7 tenths faster that lap, has the DRS now, 8 tenths behind into turn 3. With that DRS, that gap closing, he might be able to make the move by the end of this lap. We will keep following this pair. Turn 5, ooh, slide for Yates up in front, pushing very hard, maybe overheating those C2s just a little bit, trying to stay in front of Schikloven. He's 6 tenths, the gap is coming down just throughout the lap. You can see the car getting bigger and bigger as he gets closer. Going to be feeling that dirty air now though. Into turn 12, both cars taking it nice and clean. Turn 13, the penultimate corner, very tricky on warm tyres. Both cars keeping it very clean through there though, no oversteer from both of them, important just to manage the tyre life. But Schikloven just 5 tenths out the last corner, he'll have the DRS. Yates goes to the inside already, well, tries to break the slipstream, moves back to the outside. Will Schikloven make the move? No, he won't. Ooh, as Yates locks the rear there on entry to turn 1, holds on. Yates will, Schikloven will have DRS again, but yeah, thought Schikloven might just chuck it down the inside into turn 1, but thought better of it. Maybe no need to do that. He still has 6 laps to make the move, and it's just 3 tenths here, so race is now on for P1, quite obviously. Schikloven taking it very, very easy through turn 4 there, while Yates up in front just shook the car in, so maybe Schikloven is just managing his tyre temperatures a little bit, wants to be able to make the move solidly with cooler tyres, make it when it counts, instead of just wearing out his tyres throughout the lap where there's no DRS and just struggling in the corners after. Maybe he's just being a little more tactful. Follows through the S's once again. Similar gap last time around. Cars keeping it neat and tidy through the final few corners. Well, Yates is very aware of the younger GP car in his mirrors. He goes to the inside again to break the slipstream. Schikloven doesn't even follow him, but he's closer this time around. Will he look to the inside? No. Thought he might try chuck it down the inside again, but nope, thought better of it. A big snap of oversteer out of the first corner. Yates the inside a bit, but Schikloven is nowhere alongside and can move back to his line with no problems. Schikloven is so close here, coming into turn 4. Obviously, no way you can make the overtake there, not from behind, and yeah, just takes it a little easy, just 3 tenths into the middle sector. Will we see Schikloven drop back? We saw him drop back the last lap just to maybe preserve his tyres. I didn't want to be affected by the dirty air, and yeah, he's just dropping back a little bit, whether that's due to his decision or the dirty air is affecting him, and he is wearing those tyres out more than he would probably want to. Him short shifting a little bit actually out of turn 11. If he's maybe low on fuel, or he is just pulling the gap back a little bit to get the temperature in the tyres while recharging the battery potentially. You can see the battery light on Yates' car is flashing all over the place, and then he's going to deploy all of that down this final straight. Similar lap time from both of them. Schikloven's a tiny bit closer. Not making the move this time, but he's so close through turn 1. Very clean exit from both guys there. Schikloven all over the back of Yates, but Yates is rock solid at the moment. I'm sure he's feeling the pressure, but he's not showing it. Schikloven is so close behind Yates here. Green rear wing of Yates covering up the white younger GP car. He is so close. Through the chicane they go. Nice and easy in this middle sector. So easy to run wide there and lose the rear of the car on the AstroTurf. Flat there, little lift through here. Schikloven is so close, runs a bit wide through turn 11. Does not matter at all. He is right on his gearbox, coming to the final corners on the left. Keeps it clean, no oversteer, the final right-hander. Schikloven is so close this time around. clean exit from Chikloven, covers the inside again. Well, moves over to break the slipstream. Now he covers the inside. Chikloven alongside into turn 1. He's in front into turn 1, but is he able to hold on side by side on the exit? And what the... Chikloven up into turn 1. Yates, not sure what happened there at all. Just seemed to lose drive, lose power on the exit, and just slowly drifted on. Chikloven takes the lead with 3 laps remaining out of turn 1, but was definitely not an overtake he would have expected. They were side by side on the exit, and Yates just freewheeled out of the exit. I wonder if he maybe had a hardware issue, an issue with the car, just not able to get the throttle down, because it looked like he just let him go almost. Definitely want to talk to him after the race to find out what happened, but that is Chikloven, our championship leader, is now leading the race. 25-point haul for him, maybe more if he can set fastest lap. And Yates, after holding on in the lead for the whole race now, has dropped to P2, 4 seconds behind him as well. Very unusual there. I'm not sure if you know what happened there, Case, but...
Yes, I'm not too sure though. I believe, at least from what I could see from the cameras, it looked like his wheels stopped responding to when he was turning. At least that's what I think it was. From what I could see, obviously we'll have to check with him after the race during the interview, or perhaps check the replay later. But actually in Zandvoort I had a wheel issue that might have looked almost similar, where my wheel for some reason just snaps a few degrees to the left or the right by itself, and you only notice by the moment you're looking, say if you're checking your apps or something. So I'm not sure if it was a familiar situation with Jack Yates as well, but it's definitely very strange to see that. Not often in sim racing you have really such a hardware failure like that. So yeah, that's definitely very interesting. We'll be very eager to hear from him after the race then.
Yeah, it's such a shame to happen at such a pivotal moment there. They were both on the exit. I think we were on for a very exciting turn too if they were side by side, but yeah, Yates just no drive out of turn 1 and concedes the lead to Chikloven. But here comes Stoyan on James K on the inside. Oh, he squeezes him there, but Stoyan has the inside line, gives him a little shove onto the curb. Kind of his right to do so. It was his line on the inside, and he is past. So Stoyan up into P4. Kamishov down in P6. He was battling with Stoyan earlier, and Chikloven, the championship leader who was fighting with Kamishov earlier on in the season, is in the lead. So Kamishov will be quite disappointed with that. But Columba out of the race too. Columba Griffiths for Griffin Red is out of the race. Chikloven scoring those team points for Younger GP on his own. So great job from Chikloven on the penultimate lap now. There's a yellow flag for Peters in the pit lane. Not sure if Peters was piling on pitting, but he seemed to spin in the pit lane there and pitting on the second to last lap, so maybe he's going for fastest lap, I would have said, but he's lost a position to Fox now, I think, and yeah, very unusual position.
Yes, the one interesting thing is that he's already a lap behind, so I think it is a bit of a late attempt for the fastest lap, at least I would think so. So that's definitely very interesting why he would, well, first of all, spin in the pit lane and also box this late for fastest lap attempt. Currently, the fastest lap is by Darius Chikloven, of course, with a 17.244. Second fastest is Stoyan with a 76 during his C3. When he just got on the C3s for his last stint, so I don't think anyone else will be able to get the fastest lap by now. So yeah, so fastest lap. I don't remember if he had pole position or not, but yeah, fastest lap, and looks for now as he goes on the final lap of this race, the race win as well. Hopefully, I don't jinx it now.
It was Chikloven on pole, so pole drops to 4th, then regains the lead in an unusual overtake, but well deserved that he was in that position. And yeah, he's now setting fastest lap for good measure, so that'll be 26 points for Chikloven, maximum points haul you can get. Unless, of course, Peters on this final lap does actually set fastest lap. I doubt it, but you never know. Might be why he was pitting.
Yeah, and also interestingly, the previous race he did, fortunately he did not. It doesn't seem that he participated in Mugello, but the race prior to that in Zandvoort, he actually won the race, got fastest lap, and also pole position. So definitely would be another great result.
Yeah, but Zandvoort was a similar story to this. He didn't have it easy. It was a battle for the lead with can't remember who it was at the time. They were in a Bhutan car, but I don't believe it was a Bhutan car. We had some car allocation issues, let's say. But Shikloven won at Zandvoort, is our championship leader. Comes round the final corner now and will take a win in the Challenger Split Formula Trout League race at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Crosses the line in P1, Yates behind in P2. I think it caught up just at the end there, but a fantastic result for Shikloven. Fighting back after a poor start on the alternate strategy. Great job there, but Penn in P3 after that intense battle, I want to say, for the P3 position. Looks like Penn will be finishing in that position. They've still got quite a few corners to go. Shows the huge lead Shikloven and Yates both had on the rest of the field. 45 seconds. Penn is behind Yates on track. Yeah, Penn just rounding the final few corners now. Owen 1.2 seconds behind. He pitted for the C3s a bit earlier on, but not long enough in the race to be able to close the gap. Penn crosses the line. P3. Stoyan behind in P4. 7 seconds behind, I'm sure will be finishing in P5, has a nice gap to Kamishov behind. Crosses the line for P5, Fox has already crossed for P7, so has Marino. Here comes Kamishov around the final corner, P6 after a disappointing race of him. Peters around the last corner. Did not set fastest lap for Peters, and that is race over. So the order, Shikloven in P1, fantastic result for him. Yates P2, Penn P3, Stoyan P4, P5, Kamishov P6, Fox P7, Peters P8, and Marino P9. Now, Owens has finished P10, however, well, DNF'd in P10, but he did not complete 80% distance, so he will not be awarded any points, unfortunately. And with only 9 finishes, that means we only have 9 points finishing positions here. Yes, and unfortunately, with the very tight schedule we have now, please stick around. The Master Split race will be on shortly. I need to go do the Master Split race. I was Alex Cochran. Thank you very much, Case, for joining me.
Yes, no problem. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope it was entertaining as my debut as a Premier Series side commentator as well. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. But stay along for the Master Split starting very shortly.